morning, sir. Good morning, classmates. I am Vivian C. Kabundukan, your resource person this morning. And my topic is all about the current approaches to materials and methods. And there are two types of current approaches in materials, and those are the communicative approach and the task-based approach. So, first, I'm going to discuss to you the communicative approach. Communicative language teaching, or CLT, is an approach in the sense that it represents a diverse set of principles that reflect a communicative view of language and language learning that can be used to support a widely variety of classroom procedures. It is according to Richards and Rogers. And this means that how exactly these principles are realized as materials, methods, and classroom procedures depends on how of its fundamental. And the communicative approach is based on the idea that the learning language successfully comes through having to communicate real meaning. When learners are involved in real communications, their natural strategies for language acquisition will be used, and this will allow that the learners to learn to use the language. And language is communication, whether it is in verbal and in non-verbal form. For example, practicing questions from by asking the learners to find out the personal information about their colleagues. And the aim of this CLT is to communication competence in facing the real life situation. And it also involved the meaningful communications, and it touches the students' interests and needs. In the classroom, activities guided by the communicative approach are characterized by trying to produce meaningful and real communications. As the result, there will be a more emphasis in skills than system lessons are more learner-centered, and there are phases in communicative language teaching. And according to Richard and Rogers 2001, they identified three stages in each development. The first phase phase focused on the syllabus development that was compatible with the notion of communicative competence, which lead to proposal for the organization of syllabuses in terms of notion and function rather than grammatical structure. It is according to Wilkins 1976. In first phase, it refers to the language skills, and this become and the theme become the context of improving the reading materials and what is the compatible to the communicative competence of the students in their learning. And this syllabus, it focuses on the reading, listening, and writing skills of the students. And the second phase, CLT, focus on the procedures for identifying learners' needs, and this resulted in proposals to make needs analysis an essential component of communicative methodology. This is according to Mumbai 1978. It uh, it it uh, it means that the procedures is based on the task-based instruction. Uh, for example, lectures give tasks and instructions to the students, and the student do their task. This second phase, it is refers to the it refers to the teacher's procedures and how he or she will be able to bring out the skills of the learners, whether in the form of classroom discussion, group activity, and other more. The third phase, CLT focus on the kinds of classroom activities that could be used as the basis of communicative. In this third phase, the activities the teacher can use is the role play, open discussion, eh, open discussion and debates. This third phase focuses on the reading skills, listening skills, and speaking skills and writing skills of the students. This CLT focus on the kinds of classroom activities that contact be used as the basis of the communication methodology, such as group work and task work and information gap activities according to Parlon and 1987. And this third phase, it focuses on first the reading skills. For example, the students guess the meaning of word based on the context used, and then they determine the idea of the reading text. While in the listening skills, the students give of the oral questions about the topic to fill out the chart table based on the oral information. In speaking skills, the students give questions and answer of the topic, and they will be going to report the result of the discussion or group activities so that the teacher will know if the students learn or not. And the last one is writing skills. Writing skills is summarize of the reading and write answers in order the students to read the text and to understand the text. This writing skills refers to the AC writing, um, research, and so that the teacher will know if the students really understand the lessons. And in communicative teaching approach, there are implications. The first implication is the rules and functions. What are the rules and functions of communicative approach? Uh, According to Wilkins, proposed two categories of communicative meaning, the notional or semantico-grammatical and functional. The distinction between these two terms is clearly set out by Johnson's 1981 notions are rather abstract concepts, frequency, durations, dimensions, location, quantity, and so on, which in English are closely related to grammatical categories, while functions, on the other hand, refers to the practical uses to which we put language, most usually in interaction with other people. And these rules and functions of communicative teaching approach refers having awareness of communicative functions help learners to understand the fact that communication could break down if they only focus on the linguistics or, as I said a while ago, the semantico grammatical meaning and ignore the intended use of utterance or functions of the speaker. And grammatical structure can in a principle perform number of different communicative functions in communicative functions. It means that in grammatical structure the principle must be uh, followed so that there will be no miscommunications. And the second implication is the authenticity of that communicative language teaching approach. In the case of talking about language functions and language form, there are other dimensions of communication to be considered if we are to be offered more complete picture about the authentic language use of in communication, and they are the first one is the topic. What is your intended topic to be teach to the students, whether in the health, education, transportation, work, leisure times, etc., English, and other types of topic to be teach to the students. This topic should be authentic so that the students can learn something that they can use in the real life situation. The second one is the context. Context or setting, it is refers to the physical and social setting or the situations. Context mean it is refers to the setting of your of y- the settings, and the third one is the rules of people involved, whether stranger, friend, employee, boss, colleagues, customer, sellers, and etc. Rules of people involved is in this authenticity, it refers to the teachers and the students. And the role of the teachers here is to guide the students, instruct, and the students are the one who will do the work, because as the role of the teacher here is just an instructor and implementer, and the role of the students is they are the one who will be going to do all the job, and so that they will be competitive enough to face the real life situation. The third one is implication. Implication three types, error and types. It is undoubtedly desirable that their language production should be as correct as possible, but we have seen that grammatically also takes place in a wider social and communicative context. The implication here is that we should concern ourselves not only with accuracy of form, but also in the appropriacy and relation to the context. Yes, it is true that as in a communicative approach, we should focus on the structure of the sentence. It should be grammatically correct and the appropriateness of words used in the sentence, so that there will be no miscommunications between the students and the teacher. The implication here is that we should concern ourselves not only with accuracy, as I said a while ago, and of form, but also with appropriacy in relation to the context. We can see from this that the notion of errors is no longer restricted only incorrect grammar or perhaps choice of vocabulary. If being communicative includes only paying attention to context, rules, and topic, then it's logically possible to make an error at any of this level. The extent of which error types are significant depends very much on the particular teaching situations and on the objective of specific programs. It's certainly not possible to make generalization and what may be tolerated in the uh, communicative language of the students. And the role of the teacher here is to correct and guide the students on how to use uh, proper use of sentences, the uses uh, of the use of words should be appropriate enough so that the students will be guided. And in implication for discourse, coherence, and cohesive. A concept of communication does not have to be based on the sentence level criteria. It can allow language to be described. Language can handle whole conversations or paragraph or even longer text. Now, a number of categories for describing language has been developed that are not based on sentence level criteria but on the broader notion of the discourse. This implication discourse, it refers to the coherence and cohesive of using the language communication. The term of cohesion in discourse refers to the relationship between the elements in the text, whether it is written or spoken, which are made explicit. And this cohesion is it is refers to the relationship between the words, whether um, they are uh, the relationship between the two should be coherent, so that the sentence structure would be clear and concise. And the term of coherence, in simple terms, whether it is makes sense or not. And to this cohesion is the relationship between the different element in text, whether it is now written or spoken in a spoken form. And the implication 5, the term communicative can be can fact refers to all force full language skills. In this language skill, it refers to the uh, speaking and writing, speaking, writing, listening, and reading. And those four skills can be separated into productive, and under the productive is the speaking and writing, and the receptive is listening and reading, oral skills of speaking and listening, and in the paper skills of reading and writing. We also have a giver and a receiver of message, and the ways in which the information in the message is understood. It means that in implication 5, the four language skills should be developed, whether it is in the speaking and writing. In speaking and writing, it is refers to the production of, because students are the one who will talk and write, and they are with the one to listen and listening and reading. And in language, there should be a sender and a feedback, so that we will know if communi- uh, the communication is effective if there are feedback coming from the reader. Implication 6, the term communicative and CLT. Firstly, the concept of communicative can refer to a view of nature of language, leading to the procedure that have been detailed for a functional analysis of language. In other words, language is seen to have inherent communicative as well as grammatical properties. And secondly, a communicative approach also implies a concern with behavior, with patterns of interaction, as well as the linguistic contents. In this term communicative, it is very essential about the nature of language, so that on how we will know what is the function of the language, and the grammatical properties of a sentence. And the second approach in instructional materials is the task-based approach. uh, task Task-based approach is goal-oriented, leading to a solution or a product. According to Nunan, in 1989, cited in Nunan 1999, uh, later defined as a piece of classroom work that involves learners in comprehending, manipulating, producing, or interacting in the target language, while their attention is focused on mobilizing their grammatical knowledge in order to express meaning, in which the intention is to convey meaning rather than to manipulate form. And communicative approach help learners individual differences to support children autonomy, and it helps learners use language in a communicative process through authentic experience while engaging the target language. Task-based approach is a target language uh, is used by the learners for a communicative purposes, and it is also refers to the real life situations challenge the students uh, used to a traditional classroom. It is focusing on analyzing, practicing, and memorizing. And the task-based approach is concerned in accuracy as well as fluency, which has three key phases: the pre-task phase, the task cycle, and language focus. In the pre-task phase, it is refers to the teachers introduce the topic and define the topic, and uses activities to help students recall and learn useful words and phrases. And the role of the students here is take down notes, useful words and phrases from the pre-task activity. And the for in the pre-task phase also, the students are the one who will perform uh, what is being instructed by the teacher. This the task cycle cycle is it is refers to the um, students do the task in the pairs or small groups, or teachers monitor uh, the form of the stats. It is refers to the students are the one who will involve in the focus on the task cycle to improve their skills, and 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 in planning, students prepare to report to the whole class orally or write or in the form of orally or writing how they did the task, what they decided to discourse, and report. Some group present their reports to the class or exchange within the reports and compare the result. And the last one is the language focus. It is refers to the analysis and practice. This analysis, students examines the discuss specific features of text or in the form of transcript or recording. And in practice, teacher conducts product produce of new words, phrases, and patterns occurring in the data either during or after the analysis. And the next one is the learners and learning. There are a number of ways in which current course books design is concerned in general terms with the perspective on the learner, or known as individual differences, as well as with the language material itself, language acquisition, and language strategies. In task-based approach is the center of this is the learners and what are their learnings. And in the learner, we know that in the learners there are different individual differences and their interest. It is part of the teachers to bring out the interest and skills of the students. And according to Dornier 2005, provides an extensive review of studies on individual differences and considers key learner variables including the personality, motivation, attitude, aptitude, learning styles, and intelligence. And we know that each students have different personalities, and they have differences in times in of their motivations, attitude and learning styles, and the intelligences. And we know that in the classroom there are different intelligences in the students, and it is part of the teachers to bring out those intelligence and skills on how to develop it, whether in the that's why teachers provide different strategies in order for the students to bring out their interests and their intelligences and to develop it. Learning process and strategies. Sub-skills or strategies can be used as the basis for specific tasks and exercises in a lesson. The sub-skills which most frequently found are reading, listening for the general idea or the gist. In relation to reading, this is sometimes referred to as skimming. In this reading and listening for the general area, it is refers to the students will read and listen to something, and then they will be going to get the main idea, so that in the form of skimming, looking for specific items of informations or scanning for details and predicting or anticipating what is coming next, making inferences or deductions which a fact cannot simply be identified, and the aim is not primarily to ensure that every word and every grammatical structure are understood, but to equip learners with useful and transferable skills. It is these types of strategies is to bring out the skills of the students, whether in the form of reading, listening, writing, and speaking, so that the students will be able to competitive enough to face the real life situations, and in the future they can use these skills in their job in the future. Most teachers are also concerned with the conscious skills their students needs in order to learn as efficiently as possible. Study skills, which can be thought as a range of learnable and practical techniques that help students to adopt more effective methods of studies. And these study skills, the teacher um, help the students to develop their study skills, so that they can adopt more effective methods of study, because students have different ways on how to study a certain text, and learning strategies usually relates to the component of successful language learning and offers definition of a good language learner. Many current materials draw on this research and incorporate practice in good learner strategies across all language skills, often uh, asking learners to explicit about their own approach to learning. The latest developments. At the moment, English seems to be viewed as one of the necessary skills that can lead to social, academic, and economic success. Um, English the development of English uh, to the students is very essential, because nowadays we in order for us to be equipped and to be productive to face the real life situations, and how to improve their academic and economic success, the students nowadays are um, intended to use English in their communications. This new perspective of English as lingua franca affects potentially all sorts of aspects, and English language teaching includes assessment, so that the teacher will know if the students learn or not, or what are to be developed when it comes to their uh, language and communication. Secondly, related to English as lingua franca, according to Jenskins 2011, or World Englishers Kirkpatrick 2010, is the issue of intercultural sensitivity in its implementation of materials and methodology in many parts of the world. And this English language, they differ on the intercultural sensitivity and in the learning level of the students and the beliefs of the students, because in intercultural sensitivity, uh, English language should be sensitive enough to the beliefs of each individual. Lastly, the global development of the Englishers. It is refers to the global development on how we can be able to compete and to the uh, other countries when it comes to our communications. That's why English language is being taught in the school, so the students would be competitive enough to compete to other countries. And that's all about my report, and thank you for listening. God bless and stay safe.